Well, we're here in downtown North St. Paul, and we're here because a friend of ours, Tony Ducklow, has a new book out, a new children's book, and he joins us here. Tony, thanks for being here in North St. Paul with our friend the
There's
Snowman.
the Snowman, the famous North St. Paul Snowman, known throughout the world.
Your book is called The Summer of Crows, not your typical boy meets crow story. And first, before we talk about the story in detail, Tony, tell us a little bit about yourself, because there's a lot of you in this book, which is awesome. But you grew up in North St. Paul. We actually both did, so we were just reminiscing. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing here.
I have a very soft spot in my heart for North St. Paul. It was a wonderful place to grow up, a little bit like Mayberry in a way, small town. And I just had a blast. And me and my friends were always up to something and always getting into some mischief and always just having a lot of fun. And we actually did have some crows. And it had been in the back of my mind for years to write this book. And a couple summers ago, I thought I'd try it, and I did.
So are you pleasantly surprised with what came out? I mean, how did this evolve? Did you have all the characters in mind?
Not at the beginning. This started out about 10, 15 years ago. I wrote a short story called The Summer of Egg. My crow was named Egg. And it got published in the Pioneer Press. And it sat around for a while, and I asked a writer friend of mine, I said, I'm thinking about maybe turning this into a children's picture book. It was about 2 pages. And he said, no, turn it into a work of fiction, juvenile fiction. And I had never thought about that. And so there's a lot of truth in The Summer of the Crows, things that happen, but there's a lot of fiction. It's a composite. And what I did is I tried to bring back just the flavor of North St. Paul, how it used to be. It's changed a lot in the past 15, 20 years. So I tried to capture just the flavor with Max Dinette is still around.
I loved it. I read the book, and I had so much fun because all those memories come flooding back. My dad used to take me to Max Dinette, and there used to be the Funland Park right behind us over here. That was the hot spot. All the kids came and hung out there. That plays a significant role in this story as well. Tell us about the story. What was kind of the gist of this story?
I noticed this obsession with video games, and I grew up. I played pinball and even with a little pong. You remember that? The pong, the first game. And I caught it right at the beginning of Mario Brothers or Donkey Kong, I think it was called. And so I understand the fascination, but it's progressed so much. And as a teacher, it seems like that's about all my students talk about, and that's what all they want to do in their free time is just to play video games. And then they've got their phones and they're texting, and then they've got their iPads, and it's like they're hooked up to that all the time. And I thought, what an interesting story I could tell if I brought it up to the day that we're living in, where what if parents said, that's it. You've got to get out. You've got to go and experience life. And so that's kind of what happens in the book, is that the parents, the boys get a little too obsessed. They are obsessed with a game called Rabid Leprechauns, not Rabbit Leprechauns.
No,
Rabid Leprechauns.
Easily confused with
and
Rabbit.
They get so obsessed, they start role-playing, and they would like to become Rabid Leprechauns. And during a sleepover, there's a disaster.
Oh my gosh.
Which everybody can kind of relate to.
Totally.
You get a little wild.
Yes.
And so the parents, they say, that's it. That's it.
Done.
No video games for the summer. And this was their big plan. The boys in the book, this is their big plan, to play video games all summer. And so they're thinking that this is going to be the worst summer of their lives. Right.
And it turns out to be the best summer, with lots of great exciting adventures that take place. Tell us about how the snowman fits into this book. It's so cool.
Well, again, I have a special love for the snowman. I don't know, it's kind of strange, but I remember, and Judy, you probably don't remember this. I remember when he was real, as far as they would build him out of snow right on the spot, basically, that we're sitting right now. And so to me, I was just fascinated as a little boy, this huge snowman, and he seemed almost real to me, with your imagination as you're a little kid. And then, of course, they built our current snowman, And I always thought he was charming.
Yes,
I
did too.
Yeah, it's a little odd. I know some people, well, that's, but it's very identifiable for our town. There was another place that used to be in North St. Paul called Funland. I called it World of Fun in the book. And so they go into this kooky castle. A couple of the boys do. Poodlehead and I believe it was Benny.
Love the names.
Yeah. And so the storm comes up, and within just a snap of the finger, the boys are in there. It takes the kooky castle up in the air, and they're flying, floating around. And the snowman he's the hero. He saves their life because with his arms stuck out like that, just as it goes by, it catches on one of his arms. And so he's the hero. He's the hero.
So awesome. And the funny thing is it's based, at least the floating kooky house really happened
That's
here.
a true story.
I remember that.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, it did not happen to my friends. And like I said, this is a composite. But I remember in the 70s, there was a storm that came through, and some people were in one of those bouncy buildings, and it actually took them
went up off the ground.
And it took them for a ride.
So we're having a lot of fun reminiscing about this. But this book is awesome, and it's getting great reviews. Tell us a little bit about what you're hearing so far.
Yeah, it's just everywhere that people are reviewing it, it's getting five-star reviews.
What are they saying?
There are a lot of different things. The kids love. They love. First of all, kids don't know much about crows.
Right.
Adults don't know much about crows, and so kids especially love that interaction. And I'm not giving anything away because it's called the Summer of the Crows.
Yeah.
But eventually they do end up with these crows that they raise. And most people don't know that crows are maybe the most intelligent animal on the planet. We've talked about.
Yes.
There's a certain obnoxious
quality
about them that kind of maybe puts people off.
Yeah.
And so the kids they love that. They love the goofy adventures. If you've read The Diary of a Wimpy Kid, that's a real popular book right now. Tucker McTeal and his friends are just as goofy. The things they think, the ideas that gets in their head. They go on the sleepover in the field where they get this idea to in the middle of the night to run in their underwear down to the park.
But it's so accurate. I mean, it is so much. We're both parents, and I can totally relate to what some of these kids are thinking and doing. Remembering myself as a kid and then seeing my own kids, and it's an awesome book, and it was a pleasure to read it. So thank you, and best wishes with the book.
All right, thank you, Judy.